would like to present Not Seen Before.
I think you want everybody to smoke weed.
Hey, this is Royce Gracie, and you're listening to the Inside BJJ podcast.
It was a shroom trip. That's racist.
I'm not a racist.
That's racist.
I'm not a racist.
This is Kurt Oceaner. This is Inside BJJ podcast.
God damn it!
Jiu-Jitsu sucks.
God damn it!
I think you want everybody to smoke weed.
Wow, Mr. Sarcasm.
This is Nacho Laranja, and you're listening to the Inside BJJ podcast.
What is up? Thank you all for listening. I appreciate it so much. Welcome to the Inside the BJJ podcast. I am your host, the one and only, the great one, the infamous one, the one that has all the amazing ideas. Your host, Tim Freeman. Thank you. My soundboard's down on the side, so I don't have the dope sounds today. These goddamn old iPads, you got to keep them charged up or they just will not cooperate. Let me plug this bad boy in. Maybe I get some juice on it. Should have did this before the show. Got a great show lined up. Supposed to talk to Garry Tonon. Problem with these Danaher guys, man, is they're fucking unreliable as hell, dude. Like really all over the map all the time. You get them to say they'll do something and then they don't want to fucking show up. You know how it is. You know how they do. You know how these guys do it, man. It's part of the game they play. But we got a great show lined up for you, man. I'm super stoked. I'm super excited about it. We're going to try to get a chance to talk to Garry. And then we'll talk a little news. Got a little news lined up. Might go through a little bit of that right now. And then in the end, we got some really, really good message board recap stuff to hit up on Reddit that I want to make sure we get the opportunity to talk about. So let me pull that up real quick on the old Reddit BJJ boards. It's become my new favorite place in the whole world. Like, you'd think jiu-jitsu would change. You could just use Reddit as an example. If you could just go back and look at all the Reddit posts and then look at all of the posts from the other message boards, and you could see that, like, pretty much nothing's changed in jiu-jitsu for a long time. Same questions, same people, same stupid ideas. It's all the same shit. So we're going to take a few moments to check that out in just a little bit. But before I get going, man, it's pretty crazy, the world we live in right now. And so I want to, just kind of like encourage you guys to hang tight, to stick tough. It's not easy, right? It's tricky right now. There's a lot of crazy shit going on, and it's not easy for people. And I do get that, right? The wrong response, which seems to be what humans do, is we just start attacking each other, right? We just start going after it like, oh, hey, man, you said something I didn't like. You have a different political opinion than me. You think different about the coronavirus or about containment or about quarantining. Oh, you came within 6 feet of somebody and now it's a problem. Flatten the curve. Don't flatten the curve. The government's on our side. The government's lying. What the fuck ever, man. You know what I mean? It's time that you as an individual, and I'm talking to you, that you ask yourself, are you an idiot or not? You need to ask yourself that. Like, how fucking dumb am I? How dumb am I? And the reason I say that is you have to really get used to the idea here that smart people are able to talk about ideas without fighting about them, without making these gigantic assumptions about other people because they think different than you do. You remember the Think Different campaign by Apple? Remember that? Think different. Everyone's like, oh, I think different, man. I'm going to try to think different too. Now it should just be think the same or you'll be ostracized. right? And the terrible thing is that the loudest fucking critics online are usually the goddamn dumbest. And especially in the jiu-jitsu world. And I'm telling you guys, you better watch the fuck out. There's a bunch of 20-year-olds getting into jiu-jitsu right now, and they're pussies, and they got stupid ideas. And if you let them, they're going to turn jiu-jitsu into some bullshit martial arts. I'm not going to let that happen on my watch, not where I live. That's for damn straight sure. That's for sure. But I wanted to talk about a couple things, man, coming up here in the news that, I'm locked up. I'm riding my rowing machine. So the nice thing about that is, I'm going rowing machine and kettlebell crazy. I'm just swinging the kettlebell, swinging the KBs, and riding the rowing machine every damn day just about. I'm getting in my online classes. I teach 1 or 2 a day, depending on the day. I teach 7 a week right now. And, I'm doing what I can. We're doing lectures. I got a nice little armbar lecture out there on the YouTube channel if you want to check it out. Listen, I'm not John Danaher, obviously. Better looking, smarter, more well-spoken, more of a human than he is. Love you, John. No, but, you got to put your shit out there. And so if you want to check it out, please check it out. And one of the things I'm really digging is the kids' classes online, because in person, when you do a kids' class and you have a room full of people and, you're trying to kind of do classroom management, and you can't let Billy go crazy because then Johnny goes crazy, and you can't let Mary act out because then, Cynthia gets this and Peter gets that and blah. There's a lot of fucking, it's like managing a bunch of prisoners on a work project. And like, oh, why does he get to weld 2 pieces? I only got to weld 1. Why does he get an apple? I got an orange with mine. It's kind of like that mentality. And you got to keep that tampered down when it's in person. You got to like have everyone in fucking check. All the kids are like, you're in check, line up, respect stance, don't talk back. Not quite, but just about. You know what I'm saying? But when you do it online, you could just put the kids on mute so they could be going bananas at their house. They could be going crazy. They could be banging on a drum, hitting their sister in the head. They could do whatever the fuck they want. All I have to do is click the mute button, and coach gets to keep on talking. I actually like that part of it because I can kind of goof off a little bit and not have to worry about what the impact of my goofing off is. So I dig that. I like that. And I like being able to do like puppet shows. I've been doing puppet shows and tips of the day, just geared towards the kids, like stuff that they're going to like. And kids, man, they pick up when a kid is watching you do something. Kids are so good at picking up weird behavior or characteristics that are out of the ordinary. It's like they cue in on it. That's why kids ask questions to people when they're little, and you're like, why did you ask that? Like, for instance, you could have a guy who has 3 eyes, right? He could have an eyeball in the middle of his head, and your fucking kid will be like, why do you have an eye in the middle of your head? It's like they cue in on the fact that something's off. They notice that. So if you have some weird mannerism, or you wear a headband, or you do something different, like the little kids, man, they pick up on that and they fucking love it. So I'm having a blast teaching the kids classes online, and I'm grateful for all my students kind of supporting that and chiming in and getting busy with it. The other thing is, I'm able to build up some better habits with like the rowing machine, the kettlebells, taking my vitamins. I got the podcast studio like reorganized, back up and running. I'm running video now on the show, so I kind of got that dialed in. I got my studio set up, and it was a video shit set up, right? So I'm grateful for that. I'm making a lot of progress. And how pathetic are we? Like, how bad of a commentary is it on humanity that the world governments had to say, y'all are fucked up so much, you guys need to stay home for an indefinite amount of time, don't go anywhere, and get your shit together. So I'm taking it as an opportunity to get my shit together. I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job. There's been some crazy stuff in the jiu-jitsu news, man, and I wanted to talk about it. We got the one and only Tom DeBlas is back in the news again. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a Tom DeBlas hater. Like, I like Tom DeBlas. I think Tom DeBlas is one of my, favorite kind of jiu-jitsu people in the world, to be totally honest with you. But damn, a lot of people are getting upset at him now, and it's based on an Instagram post that he made a few days back, and it just says, "Not every gym is closed." And in the post, you can kind of see Nicky Rodriguez, Tom DeBlas. Who else do we got in here? We got Nicky Rodriguez, Tom DeBlas, Gordon's lady, a few other dudes in here. And it says Club Quarantine, the world's best. A group, he puts it in, I like how he put it in parentheses. Tom DeBlas knew he was going to get put on blast for this. He had to know. He had to know, dude, because check this out. He puts Club Quarantine, the world's best. A group under 10 got to work out. Mind you, up the street, there are hundreds in the Walmart and ShopRite fighting over toilet paper. He does have a good point about that. No, he really does. And people are getting pissed, right? And somebody put, don't forget that he humbly rejected all offers of help that poured in. Instead, he humbly told those offering to help to give it to someone who needed it. Oh, someone's talking about how he said, and literally the day, I'm sorry, let me swing it back. People are just talking shit. They said he made a post the other day how he dropped 15 grand on his gym and people told him not to, but he did it instead. He's so humble. And then someone replies, and literally the day before that, he posted about how his accounts were all down, and he was legit 39 days from closing until his students updated their accounts and paid in advance. And then someone else goes, don't forget, these people are like really following Tom DeBlas. He humbly rejected all of the help that poured in, all the offers of help that poured in. And let me fix this screen here. I don't think you guys are seeing the whole story. You're not. I apologize. Let me fix that a little bit. All the help offers that poured in, he basically rejected them. He said, no, Tom DeBlas is not interested in your help. Okay, only Tom DeBlas helps Tom DeBlas. Let's not forget it. All right, Tom DeBlas helps Tom DeBlas. So he goes, I followed him on Instagram because in January because he seemed like a cool guy and I wanted to see his techniques. I got more and more annoyed about all the humble things he consistently would post. So Jesus Christ. So he deleted him. Got rid of him. He said, fuck off. Dude, you know, people think he's a cornball. People think he's this. People think he's that. People are mad at him. But you know what? Who cares, man? This is America. And if Tom DeBlas wants to have his gym open and do whatever he's going to do, then he could fucking do it. And if you don't like it, go sit on it, dude. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Up there in your ivory tower, judging everybody. People get pissed at Tom DeBlas. The other thing I wanted to talk about, which I thought was freaking fantastic, and let me pull this up here, is there's an article about a video. There's a teen out who's a wrestling champion, and apparently he body slammed a suspect, and he stops the kidnapping of children. Wow, this guy must be working for Q. He's on the Trump team, the Storm, the Great Awakening. It's Thursday at around 9 a.m. at Chucky's gas station on Thorpe Road in Las Cruces, New Mexico. 16-year-old wrestling champion Kanan Bauer, that's a fucking wrestling name right there too, Kanan Bauer, heard screaming while pumping gas from across the street. A lady and 3 kids got off the Greyhound bus where a man in his 20s tried to kidnap her baby and 3-year-old child. Holy shit. Imagine stepping off of a Greyhound, and the first thing that happens when you step off the Greyhound is somebody tries to kidnap your kid. Can you imagine that? That'd be fucking frightening. That would be pretty crazy, actually. So I'm just giving Gary a text, letting him know I'm going to give him a buzz in a few minutes. So this kid, he's pumping gas, and he sees this lady get off the Greyhound. Sounds like some kind of ambush, right? And the man had hit several people in the gas station. He created a bloody mess. The clerk said people were trying to stop him to no avail. They tried to hit him with a broom, and they threw things at him. They threw like a bag of Fritos. They threw some chips. Somebody threw a half-drink can of Rockstar. With no regards for his own safety, Kanan grabbed him and threw him to the ground. Let's pull up a video clip of this. This is pretty crazy shit here. Let me I don't know if I could turn it up here, man. I might get some feedback, but let's see anyway. Let me see if I can play it. Oh, yeah, you can see some shit's going down in the background. Tried to kidnap the 3 children. This guy must have known these 3 kids. I wonder if they were like his kids or some shit. The mother said Arroyo approached and grabbed her 2-year-old's arm and demanded the woman, "I demand you, give me your children." What kind of fucking moron would do that? After struggling with the man, the mom rushed into the store, chased by Arroyo. She just casually walked in. I like how the clerk just casually walked in. Arroyo forced his way inside, fighting with a bystander who tried to keep the door closed, and he couldn't keep it closed. Now, this is the problem. Nobody knows how to fight, man. You know? Like, people don't know how to fight. This guy's getting socked up because he doesn't know how to fight. I think my screen froze up. Let me fix that real quick. I apologize. God damn it. Yeah, so this guy's getting clacked up. I'm going to go back and fix this real quick. Because he doesn't know how to fight. You know, it's like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? How are you supposed to fight? And you're trying to stave off this kid who's going crazy. Some man. He doesn't look that big, and you can't fucking do it because you don't know how to fight. It's pathetic. You don't know what to do besides watch people get their ass kicked. And you'll see this kid. At some point, this high school kid, he runs into the store, man. Where's that here? They lock him in. Guy's locked in. And then this kid runs in, and now it's on. I wish we could hear it. That'd be awesome. You're going to see. They're going to come on camera in just a minute. He came up behind the man and body slammed him. This lady's like whipping him. She's whipping him with a fucking lanyard. She ain't helping. She ain't doing shit. She's in the way. She's punching him. Bauer got the man in a hold. It looks like this lady's pegging him. Oh, I see. She's held him down. Now everyone's coming in talking shit. Now what? You like that? The fuck you gonna do? The wrestling kid. Anyway, kid's got a nice side control. That was good. He held him down well. Like, he actually kept him in that position and did a pretty good job at it. Let me hit one more here. Let's see, what do we got? What's next on there? Next on our story. Oh, yeah, Nick the Tooth. He has coronavirus. Have you guys seen this? You guys might be familiar with Nick the Tooth. Nick the Tooth is the dude who was on Dana White's Looking for a Fight, I believe. And he had a little bit of run-in with Dana and Matt Serra. Nick is a Atos Jiu-Jitsu guy, right? And there was some kind of beef back then, or something happened back then when he was rolling with Matt Serra, and he was kind of talking shit, and Matt Serra like really tooled him, and then Nick didn't want the video footage to go out. He's like, "Hey man, I'm a fucking Mendez Brothers brown belt," or whatever he was at the time. He's like, "Guillermo's not gonna like seeing me get beat by you, Matt Serra. We need to change the footage." And they're like, "No, we're not gonna take it off." Apparently, Nick has got coronavirus. He put an update on his Instagram or his YouTube. Let's hear that. Let's hear what he is. 8 minutes long. Not gonna listen to all that. That's not gonna happen. Sorry, dude. If you're gonna make a video update, it cannot be 8 minutes, dude. It has to be like 13 seconds. Anything longer than that, and we're over it. But I guess he's got the coronavirus, and I guess he's doing all right. He's a black belt. He said he caught it from someone who had it and didn't keep away, and probably infected 50 people. Okay, I like your bro math. He didn't keep away. He should have kept away. I mean, you got to be, look, let's not be stupid. The coronavirus is a real thing. You can get the coronavirus. Like, let's not act like you can't get it. But at the same time, not everything's known about it, right? So it kind of sucks. Kind of in weird times there. 100%. Let's see if I can get Garry Tonon on. He hasn't responded back to me, which kind of sucks. And I have a feeling that Gary's going to flake on me, but we'll see what happens. Let me see if I could pull him up real quick here on. Yeah, doesn't look good. Okay, well, I don't think that's going to happen. Well, no Garry Tonon? Nope. No Garry Tonon. So, thanks a lot, Garry Tonon, for standing me up again, you motherfucker. You fucking asshole. I'm tired of this shit. I'm seriously tired of this shit. If you say you're going to fucking come on the podcast, then you need to fucking do it, Garry Tonon. You can't even grapple right now. You can't even do MMA. You can't wrestle. You can't grapple. You can't compete. All right? So get your shit together. It's called a fucking alarm clock. It's called a reminder. It's an app on your phone. You went to Rutgers. You're not fucking stupid. Some fucking bullshit. Tired of this shit. I'm challenging you to a Texas kick fight. Dang it. You know when you're trying to sound all tough and then you make like you say something but you have a weird vocal inflection right at the wrong moment? Like, I'm challenging you to a Texas kick fight. It's like, doesn't sound right. Doesn't sound right at all. But seriously, man, this is it is kind of an annoyance, to be 100% honest with you. Like, when people they commit to doing some shit and then they don't do it. It's like, come on, man. What the fuck, dude? Like, is this what we're doing? For real? This is how we're going to play the game now? Typical John Danaher stuff. You know what I mean? Like, typical John Danaher bullshit. So tired of it. We're so tired of it, John Danaher. Like, just come on. Just get your shit together, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no need to not have your shit together. Just get it together. Get it to fucking together. Okay? Just get it together. Just get it all. Just like Rick and Morty. Just like Morty said, get it together. Get all your shit. Package it all up. And get it together, Garry Tonon. So that way when you say you're going to be available for a phone call and you go, hey, man, remind me because I'm a retard. And then I remind you 16 times. You show the fuck up. I don't want to hear, oh, I got corona. Probably what happened was he spent the night at Gordon's. You know Gordon's got that big new house now. Gary and Gordon got bunk beds, one of the rooms. And Nikki's always fucking around, playing jokes on him, and he probably fucked with the alarm clock. We'll circle back to Gary in a few minutes. I'm going to text him again. Yo, retard. You didn't answer my call, motherfucker. So we'll see what happens. I did send him that, by the way, just so you know. I'm not lying to you. I don't know if you're going to get the reverse view. It looks like you got the reverse view on that. Whatever. Let's just keep moving, man. We're going to keep the show humping, and we're going to keep grinding right through. You know what's really fucked up? The guy I feel the most sorry for right now, to be honest with you, is Tony Ferguson. I mean, is this guy cursed or what? Like, what is going on with Tony Ferguson? This guy cannot get a title fight. It's ridiculous. I feel like the universe is conspiring against Tony Ferguson to keep him from fighting. I mean, this is the fucking conspiracy that Eddie needs to look into. This is bigger than chemtrails. It's bigger than flat Earth. It's bigger than Q. It's bigger than the Bilderbergers. It's bigger than Barack Obama being born in Kenya. It's bigger than Donald Trump pissing on prostitutes in Moscow. It's bigger than the moon landing being faked. It's bigger than Woodrow Wilson and the League of Nations. It's bigger than the NWO. This is Tony Ferguson being butt-fucked once again by the MMA gods. Like, somebody up there does not want him to fight for the title. So now the situation is this. Guess what? No title fight because Khabib's in Russia, Tony's in the U.S., and we're not allowed to travel anymore because of the virus. Hey, man, flatten the curve, bro. Flatten it. Flatten it. How fucking flat does this curve need to goddamn be? I think it's flat enough, man. Tony Ferguson needs to fucking fight. I don't care if you make a special exception. You put him on. This is what you do. Here's what you do. You put Khabib in an airplane. You put Ferguson in a different airplane. You fly these guys down to Brazil to the same house that Mario Sperry and his group of guys were training in that Zen Mario Sperry VHS that came out quite a while back in the day. And it was like Mario Sperry and Ricardo Arona, or I don't know, all these fucking dudes, Bustamante, Murillo Bustamante, all these cats. They're fighting in a house. It's just basically a house that they've emptied out their rooms, and they're fighting. They're like, hey, man, take the leg locks to the spare bedroom. You know there's not enough space in the side room for that. Like, they're literally like doing MMA sparring in a house. You put them in that house, and you just say, look, you guys could fight in any room of the house. You can't use weapons, standard rules, but you can fight in any room of the house. And as long as you don't leave the house, and at the end of 5 minutes, you're both going to sit on the porch and rest for a minute, and you go right back into the house and fight again. And then put some cams up and let's videotape it, because these guys need to fight. Tony needs his title fight. It's not right. It's fucked up, man. Like, every time this guy gets a chance, somebody gets in his way. So let's. I wanted to pull that up because if you're Tony right now, you got to be ready to fucking kill somebody. You know what I'm saying? You got to be ready to really put it down on somebody hard. All right. So let's see what Tony had to say. And for sure, Tony's he's not happy about this. If I know Tony, he's not happy about this. Let's check it out. Tony goes, Ferguson says Khabib and Conor McGregor are due for an ass whooping. I love it. I love it. I think he's right. Ferguson wants to serve up an ass whooping for Khabib Nurmagomedov and Conor McGregor's like Conor McGregor's like lame ass cousin. I'm Conor McGregor. Ferguson expressed frustration in yet another canceled bout with Nurmagomedov. The two were scheduled to collide for the Eagles UFC lightweight title on April 18th. That is no longer the case, as Nurmagomedov. How come they can't put Khabib? Like, you stupid asshole. Is stuck in Russia, where a travel ban is in effect due to the coronavirus outbreak. This fucking guy wrestled bears. You think coronavirus is going to bug him? There's no way. There's no way. It's not going to happen. While UFC 249 is still in the cards despite no official location, whether or not Ferguson will face someone else remains to be seen. Speaking to ESPN, Ferguson had some harsh words for his inability to compete later this month. Khabib's a bitch. I told him I was going to mop the fucking floor with his hat. The dude jammed out. He jammed out. That is so, that's fucking street language right there. He jammed out. He jammed out. Nobody else deserves. Ferguson went on to say that not only does Nurmagomedov deserve to get some smoke, but so does McGregor. Nobody else deserves that ass whooping other than two people. That's McNuggets and Team Tiramisu. Tony Ferguson explained to ESPN that Khabib Nurmagomedov and Conor McGregor. That's Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov. Khabib Nurmagomedov and Conor McGregor need their asses whooped. Justin Gaethje, here's another guy. What, you got to have a fucking fucked up name to fight now, is reportedly on tap to serve as a potential replacement for the opponent for April. No, stop. Stop right now. Let's just stop this shit. Let's stop right now. We don't want a replacement. I don't want to see Tony Ferguson fight anybody else but Khabib or Conor. Nobody fucking else. Those are the only two fights I want to see. That's it. He did. That's what Tony's earned. He's earned no less than that. Don't put anybody else fucking up there except Khabib or Conor. That's it. Close the fucking door, man. Dana White, you got to do the right thing. You got to do the right thing, man. That's ridiculous. You know, and Tony's down to fight anybody, but I don't want to see him fight Nate Diaz. I don't, dude. I want to see Tony. And they're running Nate's name out there. I don't want to see him fight Nate, dude. I want to see him fight Khabib. Khabib. Or Conor Gregor. One of those will do. Khabib or Conor. Shit, man. You know what's crazy? And this is what's fucking really, really tricky is a business owner. It's like, my business is closed right now, right? But Chael Sonnen's business last weekend, having a hard time finding competitors. But he chimed in on John Jones. Once again, John Jones, John Jones has got some fucking problems, man. Like, I think we all realize that now. I think we've known that, but I think it's become even more evident that John Jones is a troubled human being, and he needs fucking help. And Chael chimed in, and he said that, hey, what's done is done, and there's nothing you could do about it. On March 26th, Jones was arrested in Albuquerque, New Mexico. The UFC light heavyweight champion was charged with aggravated DWI, negligent use of a firearm, possession of an open container, and driving without proof of insurance. After reaching a plea deal, only the DWI charge stands for Jones, and he was able to avoid jail time. So wait a minute. John Jones has an aggravated DWI. I don't even know what aggravated DWI is over just DWI. Isn't it always an aggravation to get busted when you're driving while intoxicated? Isn't it like 100% it's an aggravation? It's never like, oh, man, thanks for pulling me over, officer. It always sucks, right? It's never awesome. It always sucks. You know what I mean? Apparently, he negligent use of a firearm. I had read somebody had intimated, and I don't know if this is true or not, that he actually fired the firearm, which is fucking crazy. That's what he did. Like, damn, he plead that out somehow? Is a cap gun. No proof of insurance. And Sonnen doesn't think he should be punished. Sonnen just says, hey, man, whether or not you think he got off easy, Jones' worst punishment for the deal has already been handed out. The judge didn't really do anything. Could you call it a slap on the wrist? You can call it whatever you want. But what's done is done. And, those calling for the UFC to step in and punish John Jones for having legal issues once again won't get a cosign. Look, man, John Jones is a great fighter, but obviously he's got some shit going on. Like maybe move from Albuquerque, dude. Like maybe pack up and go. Maybe just go somewhere where there's a bunch of regular people. Like whatever's going on for you is fucked up. But I think it's funny that everyone's going to chime in with it, especially Dominic Reyes. He said, hey, man, Jones needs some real help. And they had a good fight. He said, I still know I was the better fighter that night. I want a rematch, but if he's out of the picture, I feel I have earned another title shot. Hey, look, these are the breaks right here. John Jones is literally one step away from being a fucking crack addict, and he's still running the light heavyweight division. What is that? Like, imagine if he actually did clean up. Imagine if he actually did take care of himself. If he did. He doesn't look like he stays in shape. When you see photos of him that are like out of fight camp photos, god damn, he looks like he should be on the Chappelle Show or something. Like, he doesn't look like he's a super athlete, but god damn, he gets in shape for the fights. Obviously, he has the talent. He has the ability. He has all the things he needs on fight day to win. It's just, dude, how great could this guy be if he could actually keep it together? Like, if he could actually just keep his shit together, how great could he be? Who knows, right? But, you know, he's out for a while at least. Got the D-dub eye, and that sucks. You know, what are you going to do in a situation like that? You're going to have to fucking deal with it, man. You know, you're going to have to deal with it. And I don't know, like, how do people stay John Jones fans now? Like, DC probably just feels straight up sorry for John Jones at this point. I don't even know if you need to come out and go, John Jones is a bad person. I just think John Jones has some problems, some serious problems, and he needs to get help. It's like, dude, you don't want to wake up one morning and read John Jones dead, drug overdose, John Jones crashed his car, John Jones did this, John Jones did that. The problem with John Jones is smart. John Jones knows how to say the right things. He knows what we want to hear. It's almost like he already knows what he's going to say when he gets caught before he even does it, you know, which is an indicator that he's smart. He just doesn't want to change right now. And maybe he feels like the formula's working, man. He's the heavyweight champion. Kind of hard to convince somebody to change when they're doing well. You know what I'm saying? Like that's tricky. Dude, speaking of, you know, John Jones going mad, the whole world's going mad, man. I just read this article today about a train engineer in California who derailed a train. Listen to this shit. Because he was suspicious of a nearby coronavirus relief ship. It doesn't even make sense. So apparently a train engineer, he's facing federal charges. He admitted to intentionally derailing, this is a weird sentence, after he allegedly admitted to intentional. How do you use the word alleged and intentional in the same sentence? They're usually mutually exclusive. He allegedly admitted to intentionally derailing a train Tuesday night, the USNS Mercy, a ship sent to Los Angeles to ease the burden of homelessness. Oh, hospitals. Now, look, man, if the president came on TV and said, we need everybody to go inside and don't fucking come back out for a month because we got to deal with this coronavirus problem. Oh, man, Gary. Dude, yes. I've been calling. I called you, Gary. Gary just texted me. See if he'll be ready. Oh shit. There he goes. So we can get this. Garry Tonon. Oh, that's all right. Hey, can I get you on the video? One sec here. I think we can video on WhatsApp. Are you using a phone or your computer? I could. Do you have FaceTime on your computer? Yeah. Okay. Okay, cool. I'll tell you what. I will I'll call you back on WhatsApp. I just got to switch one configuration on my phone. All right. Thanks, bro. Okay, bye. All right. So he came through. Apparently, when you harass somebody enough, they come through for you. All right. So let's get Garry Tonon fired up here on the pod. Give me 1 second. Just a second here. I'm going to dial him up. Yeah, so apparently this guy derailed a fucking train. Like, god damn, that's taking shit to a little too far. All right, let me just do one thing here. I think we're good. All right, I think we're good. Let me get Gary. WhatsApp, and we'll give him a call. Boom, 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 boom.
What's going on, brother?
What's going on, man? How are you?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good, dude. Just sitting inside my house like I do every day now.
Right? No shit, dude, right?
Yeah, man.
What's the vibe like on the East Coast, man? Because I just read about it, but out in California, everybody's fucking going mad over we go fucking nuts over anything. Yeah. So I feel like people are just waiting to go crazy about shit out here. So everyone seems to be happy about being quarantined in some weird fucked up way. How are you guys feeling out there?
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's certain things that I'm tackling as responsibilities that are normally I would have trouble getting done because I'm usually so busy with training and everything like that.
Yeah.
I just moved into a new apartment here in Secaucus. So it gave me some time to really get all my stuff together and kind of actually unpack. What probably would have normally happened is 6 months from now, I'd still have stuff in boxes.
Yeah.
And I'm actually making progress. So,
right.
So, but in terms of the general vibe and in terms of how everybody is kind of taking it in, I would say that the main differences, just based on the things that I've talked to with other people, it doesn't seem to be nearly as strict over here. Their policies with, people going out and stuff. If you go to the department store or something, if you go to ShopRite or whatever, there's massive amounts of people there, and they're really not doing a whole lot to enforce the whole social distancing thing. Not that I necessarily think there's too much more that they could do, but the only thing I see is marks, separating people in line, that you're supposed to stand at, right?
Right. Put some tape on the ground.
That's the only thing I really see. But from what I've heard from other people is they're limiting the number of people allowed in the stores,
right?
At certain times, which I haven't seen here at all. I haven't seen anybody regulating the number of people in stores. Stores are more crowded than I've ever seen them. And now, again, my frame of reference is two places that I went to in Secaucus, Target, and some grocery store. And then my other frame of reference is Home Depot near my old town in Milltown, was just packed with people. And again, just there's really wasn't a whole lot, being done, I felt to really, keep people separated from each other. But go ahead.
Oh, I was going to ask you, how hard of a pill is it to swallow for you, in the sense that you're a business owner, you have a business, and it can't be open. You can't run it right now. And if you do, you're going to get publicly shamed for which, right? You're going to have the whole fucking goddamn chorus of internet assholes telling you what you should and shouldn't do. And then you could go up the street and you could see a parking lot full of minivans and SUVs at Home Depot. It's super frustrating. How does that kind of sit with you?
Yeah, man, I think there's problems with it. The thing is so my the way that I'm thinking about it is number one, if you're going to do something like this, let's do it right. It is what it is. I'm willing to listen to, I obviously shut my school down and everything like that when the government told me I had to, no problem. But it's like you said, if we're going to do this, let's not let 400 people into Home Depot just walking around, because then it kind of defeats the whole purpose. Then you may as well have everybody going to their individual jobs at work, where there's only 30 people in an office instead of 400 people entering the same place at the same time. Right. Maybe I'm exaggerating with the number of 400, but still, I'm saying there's a large numbers of people. So I just feel if you're going to do it, you may as well go all in. The other thing that I would say is, I just worry, I had mentioned this a couple different times, about the implications of doing this for a long period of time, comparative to the implications of what's going to happen with the spread of the virus and stuff. Obviously, this is effective. Shutting things down is in some way effective in slowing the virus down and everything like that. But I do worry about a lot of other things that are going to happen as a result. Not necessarily saying that this is the wrong choice or anything like that, but I definitely think that there's probably a more moderated approach. for example, like, so most people aren't traveling or anything like that. My dad is out in a place in Texas right now where there's been 0 confirmed cases, like, in the county, right? And they're following the same protocol that we're following in New York, which is like all businesses are shut down, this, that, and the other thing, right? That non-essential businesses. It doesn't really seem like it makes a whole lot of sense to do that nationwide, for instance, right? Like in places where the hospitals aren't going to get overrun, like maybe let people at least on some level kind of get back to normal, you know, and unless it starts to become a problem, then of course, like, you know, shut things down if you're worried that hospitals are going to be stacked up, etc. Like obviously places like New York and New Jersey, where there's big, you know, problems with the spread and you know, filling of hospitals, it makes total sense, I think, to like, you know, do stuff this serious. But
yeah, I feel like maybe it's because of social media and how ubiquitous it is in society now. Like there's no getting away from it, that whether you're in West Texas in the middle of nowhere or you're in Manhattan in the middle of everywhere, right? Like people are reading the same thing and thinking the same thing and thinking like, oh, well, if this is happening over there, then it must mean that it's going to happen here and we have to follow the same rules. And it's spread just beyond the United States. It's the whole goddamn world is going inside now. And I'm just asking myself, like, and I think people are obviously, but maybe not the general public enough, thinking like, what is the fallout of all this going to be? Like my kids don't go to school anymore. They're fucking home all goddamn day now, indefinitely. You know, how is this going to impact them 2 years from now or a year from now, or the businesses, small businesses especially, I feel like are getting decimated. And the answer is SBA loan. Just go get a loan. It's like, oh yeah, go get in debt. That's the answer. We'll give you money and you can pay us back with interest. Like, God damn, this is a scam, dude.
Yeah. So one of my friends sent me that the other day, like the whole loan thing. And I was like, well, he's like, well, you know, they may just turn it into a grant. And I'm like, well, unless I get something in writing saying, hey, you're never going to have to pay this money back, I'm probably not going to go do it. Because I mean, I've never been a person, like even you know, when I first opened my gym or anything like that, who ever wanted to be in debt for any length of time. So when I first opened my gym years ago, and moved to like a new, I moved to like a new location. Technically I took over for somebody else, but I had to like, you know, get new mats and, you know, get a new facility, this, that, and the other thing. So there was a bunch of money that went into that. I think the most I was willing to do was I had opened like one of those Home Depot credit card things where you could like pay back in like 6 or 12 months. And I literally paid it back the month afterwards. Like after I got the money from, you know, the contracts or whatever, I just paid them back immediately after. I'm just not, I'm not about that. You know, I don't think it's a really smart business move for most people. You know, maybe it'll be structured in a way where it makes sense and gives people some breathing room and some time to kind of recover from this. I mean, me personally, man, my business has some money saved up. I can survive, you know, a little while, you know, having my business shut down. I don't really take money from my jiu-jitsu school. Basically the gym kind of just reinvests all the money in its own account. So I don't rely on my jiu-jitsu school for my own living.
How do you live? Doing like
mostly I make money, like I said, from fighting and sponsorships. Obviously I'm not fighting now because everything's shut down. But fighting, sponsorships, DVDs, all those kinds of things make me way more money than, you know, the gym makes anyway, even if I did take money from the gym. So mainly like the thing that sucks about gym, I guess, is there's only going to be a certain amount of time where I'm going to be able to pay like my instructors and stuff like that. But the gym for me has been more of a money drain than anything. Like, I probably put way more money into that gym than it's ever. Well, so it's more like something that I do because I really love to teach and stuff. And one day it will be, you know, one day when I'm done fighting and, you know, all that kind of stuff fades away, it will be something that is important for me making money on a day-to-day basis and stuff like that. But
sure. And it, in a weird way, like I feel like, and I've actually seen this, talked to some people, there are some struggling businesses, not necessarily jiu-jitsu, but there are some jiu-jitsu academies that are struggling. And this has provided some businesses with a nice way to bow out and preserve their integrity. It's like, it's
That's
not our
true.
fault. It's the virus. We got to close now. They're like, woo.
Yeah.
Now I don't have to admit that I fucked up, you know?
Even some jiu-jitsu competitions and stuff like that I saw were like, even before this was like a big thing where everybody was, doing a economic shutdown, were like making the excuse like, oh yeah, like, we're not going to hold the event because of the virus. And like the real story was, because I had inside information, the real story was they didn't have the money to pay the people that they, they saw what happened with, I forget what organization.
Oh,
what was the one that just recently?
Yeah, that was, dude.
So they didn't want that to happen to them. So they shut down and blamed the virus. But the truth was that, they just didn't have the money.
Trying to be a jiu-jitsu.
There's only basically Fight to Win is the only organization that I've seen that it's like a self-sufficient organization that doesn't, I'm sure they get sponsorships and stuff like that, but I don't think they need them. Like, I think without that, even without their sponsorships and things, they'd still make money doing their events. Outside of them, I don't know if any of the pro organizations, like how well they would be able to succeed without outside sponsorship and stuff like that. Like,
sure.
Just with viewership and everything, like I don't know if they've created sustainable business models. Sure, they might have an investor here, a big sponsor here, or whatever the case may be, but that's not, to me, Fight to Win is one of the only ones that actually has like that, a real business model that can be reproduced, right?
Yeah. And I think some of that is due to the fact that they're busting ass. They're in a new city almost every weekend when they're out and about, and Seth and that crew, they're called Team No Sleep because they're literally like, they're doing all the fucking work. I talked to one of their dudes who just drives the truck. Like, that's all he fucking does is like drive the truck city to city, city to city. So that's definitely a hard model to make it in. I think, I'm trying to look at it in a positive way. So in one way, there's going to be a little bit of the cleaning out of the bottom 10%, bottom 20% of just things that were already not working. Like those things that were not working, businesses that were not working, they're going to get wiped out. The problem is like, there's a lot of dudes in the middle, that are like, my gym was in a similar spot. We don't have a bunch of debt and there's a little bit of money to keep it running, but you start looking at the dates, you're like, well, when are we actually going to get to come back? And they're like, well, maybe May, maybe June, maybe July. You start trying to project that out and you're like, well, goddamn, I don't got that much money lately. I don't have Tom DeBlass money. You know what I'm saying?
One of the things I'm worried about is not so much my gym's financial situation, but the financial situation of the people I sublet from. So basically, it's like a 10,000 square foot facility, let's say, right? Mm-hmm. I am renting a little over 3,000 square feet of that 10,000 square feet, right? But these other guys, like, I don't know what their financial situation is, and they're shut down too. They deal with like a lot of kids and things like that. So they're shut down whenever the schools are shut down. I'm worried that they won't be able to pay rent because they're the ones that pay for the full 10,000 square feet. And if they can't pay rent and they get kicked out, like, unless I'm going to be paying for the full 10,000 square feet, I'm going to get kicked out too. You know what I mean? So it's a tough situation, man. I may have to end up moving my gym somewhere else, depending upon the way that this unfolds and this works out. And I'd be willing to bet you there's a lot of gyms out there that are like that too, where they're not just relying on themselves. I mean, even if you're actually, renting from somebody, but you might go, oh man, I'm not able to collect rent from any of my tenants. Well, I guess I got to fold. I guess I got to declare bankruptcy, whatever the case may be. And then that may make you lose your gym, So
no, for certain. And the other thing too that is kind of been on my mind is, let's say the government or who the fuck ever goes, hey, yeah, you can come back to business and on this date, but 40% of your students have lost their job or had their hours cut or are in some financial situation where they can't afford to make it. And then what do you do? Like, are you going to be the big bad guy? You're going to be like no, you owe me. You signed a contract. I'm coming after you. Like, nobody wants to be that guy.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be tough. I think in all regards, it's going to be like, all across the board in terms of like people, starting up businesses or, reinitiating, jobs and this, that, and everything. It's going to be rough for a while. Cause like you said, a lot of people are not going to have money to spend. So even if you're running your business well or doing the right thing, it's like it just may be difficult for people to continue going because there isn't going to be that money that people are that disposable income, if you will, for people to go out and purchase goods and services and things like that the way that they were previously.
Yeah.
So there's real long-term impacts to a lot of this. I think it's worth considering and worth looking into. And it's really, I'm not an expert in any of this, on the disease side of it, on the economy side of it. Obviously, I just, like every other human being, like I have, fears and, worries and doubts and things about, everything that's going on. And I have no idea, if we're handling this the right way or if there's a better way to do it, if there's not, and I've gotten a lot of flack.
God damn, dude. You're like a lightning rod.
Yeah. God forbid.
I wanted to ask you about that though, because look, you're a smart dude. You kind of play it off like, oh, I'm Garry, retarded and all that, but you're a fucking smart guy. You're not an idiot, right? you know what's going on. You have an education. You're not, you weren't born yesterday. But man, there's a chorus of Redditors and jiu-jitsu people on the internet who have strong opinions about how you should run your business and what you should do. And the problem that I have is most of these opinions are like really uninformed. No skin in the game. Yeah. It's all dictated by social media memes and shit that, they heard somebody say or their favorite superstar, on the internet said, and then they come to you with it and act like you're some kind of asshole. And I get the feeling like it's very hard to just have discourse with somebody and just talk about something. Go like, well, here's what I think, without them going like, no, you're fucking bad. You're going to kill people. You have blood on your hands. It's really hard.
That's the tough part about all of this is the way that everybody kind of receives the information and responds to it. It's not, I mean, that's the internet though, part of it. Like I tell people that all the time. It's like, this isn't my first rodeo. I've been dealing with this kind of stuff for a long time. This is how people don't converse on the internet. Like, hey man, that's a really interesting point. Like I never really considered that, but have you considered this? Like, everybody, it's always like, it's always got to be like framed as some sort of attack, which is unfortunate, but at the same time, I'm used to it. It is what it is. I think for me, what was tough for people was initially I had came out and I had attacked Keenan because I felt like he was kind of attacking anybody in the jiu-jitsu community that still had their gym open. Because at the time, like there wasn't that many confirmed cases. There were no government regulations saying you needed to shut your gym down or anything. And he was kind of coming out saying like, oh, you're part of the problem. You're irresponsible if you don't close your gym down. And I just felt like there's a better way to approach it. To kind of say like, hey, listen, here's this thing that I'm doing. I'm closing my gym down. I think it's the right thing to do. I think if you do some research, you might also agree that it might be a good thing. It might save some people, this, that, and the other thing. Instead of kind of trying to, the way that I thought it was framed in a way that was attacking other people that weren't like-minded and weren't doing the same thing he did. And I said some choice words that, I like to use the word retarded and cunt. And I kind of felt that's kind of how he reacted to the situation. And I think they misunderstood me thinking his decision to close his gym was retarded or that he was a cunt for closing his gym. That's not what I was saying at all. All I was suggesting was I thought that the way that he framed his argument about it was kind of cunty. Like it wasn't about like me saying like, oh, he's stupid for closing his gym. It's just like, I didn't like the way that it was framed, obviously we're all closing our gyms now, so it's not like, I'm in the same boat. It's not like, I'm doing anything different. I think that's another thing is I'm getting a lot of reaction. Like I'm somehow out in the streets, like dancing around with like groups of hundreds of people protesting. Like, dude, I'm in my house the same way you are and my gym is closed. Like what am I doing? They're treating it like it's like you just said, like I'm somehow by having other opinions and doubts about like the economy and things like that somehow I am making the world a worse place to live and I'm killing people. That's the general consensus is that because of the things I'm saying on social media that people are dying. That's true.
It's insane.
That's what's happening right now.
It's a scary spot to be in, honestly, like it's kind of nuts. And when I saw the post that Keenan made, I had similar feelings about it because I think, you know, in a time like this, you know, there's two kinds of people, and you might have thoughts, both kinds of thoughts, but maybe you don't necessarily act on it. Some people go like, hey, this sucks. How can we help the community? Let's just say the jiu-jitsu community, right? So the way I looked at it was, I'm not going to close my gym and put some high-minded post out there or put something out there that makes my other jiu-jitsu peers look bad if they're not doing what I'm doing.
Sure.
You know,
that's the issue for me. Like, that's what stings.
Yeah.
Is when you go out there and you try to make other people like look bad. That's what sucks.
Because then the move to close your gym, which, you know, I don't know Keenan personally, but it feels a little disingenuous. It's like, oh yeah, you got this big online setup and you're ready to do a bunch of shit over here and blah, blah, blah. So like, it's convenient to close the gym, and it can be a strategic move. And I'm not saying that he did that, but it can be a strategic move where you're like, hey, I'm closing my gym. You should be closing yours too. And then the shame comes in, you know, which the internet's great at that. And jiu-jitsu is great at that, right? They're just looking for someone to fuck up. Keep in mind though, like, Keenan's not a dummy. You know, Keenan spent a lot of time with whether you like Lloyd Irvin or not. The guy fucking gets it when it comes to marketing and putting your name out. And Keenan picked up on some of that. You know, he's not a moron, dude. He knows what's up. So, that was a little off-putting, to be honest with you, because it's like, especially for a guy like me, I'm like, dude, I'm small potatoes. Like, nobody's paying to see me compete. And so when some big name puts pressure on it, then it puts pressure on the whole system.
Sure.
So, it's a fucked up move, Keenan.
It is what it is, man. I mean, I get why people are reacting the way they are. And the other thing is, too, is I have empathy for everybody, even the people that are attacking me the hardest. Like, I understand this situation is so scary, and, you know, people are dying, and this is something that was unexpected. And, you know, people have loved ones and things that are immunocompromised or older. And that's the other thing, too. Like, people act like I don't have, like, guys, I have parents and I have grandparents alive. Like, I have a grandma that had 2 major strokes that's sitting in a rehab right now that will absolutely die if she gets this. Like, there's just no chance she's going to recover. So it's like, guys, it's not like I don't have people that are at risk. It's not like I'm walking around and I think that, like, oh, this is no big deal. Like, so man, I feel for all the people that are, you know, kind of in a craze about this. And, you know, I don't have any hard feelings really about anybody that reacted shitty. You know, like I said, I had my opinions about, you know, and I stated them already about Keenan and this, that, and the other thing, but it is what it is. These are trying times. And, you know, even the thing that he said, like, I didn't like it, but like, I don't look at him and think like he's like fucking some scumbag that's irredeemable or anything like that. It is what it is, man. He chose to act the way that he did in a crisis. And, you know, I chose to react the way that I reacted, and it is what it is, man. I feel for everybody, because this is not, you know, I don't think this is really, it's not like this helped anybody out, you know?
Right.
Like, I don't think this maybe toilet paper companies. Yeah. But other than that, like, I don't think this is like, you know, this situation is you know, benefiting anybody or making anybody happier, or, you know, anybody's like trying to like really reap, you know, really like rewards from this. So it is what it is, man. You know, I think I wish everybody the best, and I hope everybody stays safe during this. And I'm hoping to try my best to help everybody that's, whether they're in my academy or outside, try to help them bounce back from all this. You know, when we finally start kind of making a recovery and things start going again. You know.
Yeah. The way I look at it, I was talking to my wife, is like, if you just said we're all video game characters, and however well you're doing in life, like if you have your shit together or not, that's basically about how much your life energy is in the video game, right? But like, the video game overlords decided everyone's getting kicked in the nuts. You know what I mean? So like, everyone got kicked, so your life power just dropped by like 50%. If you only had 30%, then this kick in the nuts now is going to put you in the negative. If you're up at 80, like, you drop down, but you're still alive. So the people that were kind of flourishing are probably going to make it. But if you were already on the ropes, this kick in the nuts could be a fatality. It's like, boom.
I feel really bad for people like that, especially, like I had mentioned a lot with my concerns about the economy. I think a lot of people hear the word economy and then they think dollar signs. And they're just like, oh, well, he's just concerned about money and like his gym, like making money. And like, it really has nothing to do with my personal financial situation at all. My concerns about the economy, quote unquote, were more along the lines of like, hey, There's a single mother out there who has 2 kids that she now has to watch at home, who just lost her job, who can't afford to pay her mortgage anymore, and she may lose her house, or she may, get kicked out of her apartment at some point. It may not happen right now, but it may happen later. Or even the family that's together that's now going to struggle financially. And I think we're all well aware that financial concerns have been a big reason for divorce and families splitting up.
Yeah.
So now some husband's going to lose maybe his house and his kids. And like, there's real repercussions of that too.
Yeah.
People commit suicide over things like that. Like there's real things that are happening because of this, that I worry about, and it's a really scary thing, man. And, this is going to be tough for the whole world, but I agree with you. There's certain people that, are able to talk about it a little differently because they're coming from a place of safety, and they're not necessarily thinking about the people that are not in that safe place.
Yeah. Yeah. And as a society, we have to be able to talk about ideas without saying, like, if you don't agree with my idea, then somehow now we're enemies and we can't work together. We can't be on the same side. You must be eradicated. Sure. You have to be shamed and publicly apologize. And then we're still going to bring it up every time your name comes up. It's ridiculous, Yeah. It's a scary time.
It makes things hard.
It does.
It makes it really hard to get things done, I think, when things are like that. Because it's not really discourse. It's just kind of 2 people screaming at each other.
Yeah.
Instead of kind of sitting down and actually discussing things. One of the things I really like to do, and a lot of people always they ask me questions about it, is I don't really block people at all on social media. I know a lot of people are really fond of hitting the block button.
Yeah.
I don't block anybody. I engage with people who don't agree with me. And I find it really beneficial. I think it's, obviously everybody doesn't have the time to just debate people on social media, but I find it beneficial on multiple regards. I think it makes my arguments stronger. It helps me learn more about how others feel about things. I don't really like to put myself in a bubble where everybody just agrees with me. I kind of like the idea that there's a lot of people out there that disagree with certain things that I say. Because again, like I say, I think that's beneficial. It helps me have a more balanced understanding of the world.
Sure.
To hear somebody else who's saying something completely different from me, that thinks completely different. And sometimes it really does change the way that I think over time. And that's one of those things where you'll see politicians and you'll have them criticize, you changed your mind about this. It's well, I hope they did at some point. Right. Should our politicians just be unchanging, They just believe the same things forever and never learn from anybody else's opinions or experiences or expertise. I hope that people flip flop their opinions here and there because you learn more and more about the world. I think if anything, that shows that you're actively trying to learn about the world.
That's a sign of intelligence, right? To be able to change your mind, to go oh wow, I have new information. I weighed it up against what I had before, and I've changed my mind. Versus I'm going to live in this cognitive dissonance where I have this thing I believed, and I have new information, and instead of changing my mind, I'm just going to live in this weird mode where I actually think it's something different, but I won't say it. That's insane, dude.
Yeah. I'll give the example, even when we're talking about this virus, when I had originally heard about everything, going on, I knew it was a serious thing. I knew a lot of people were going to die. But until I saw the things coming out of Italy and the way that the hospitals were overrun and things like that, I definitely would have been much more in the frame of mind that we should get back. Everybody should get back to normal a lot earlier. But now I'm definitely I have a more of a balanced opinion where I'm kind of thinking all right, well, certain areas like New York and stuff like that are going to have to stay shut down for a while because those hospitals really are going to become overrun.
Yeah.
But simple things like that, it's not like I'm not taking information and adjusting the way that I look at things. I'm not so clinging to my ego here about, my original opinions that I can't change my mind.
You're not dogmatic. Yeah. Which is important.
Yeah.
Let's talk about BJJ fanatics. I feel like this might be a conspiracy to get everybody over focused on BJJ fanatics. And
okay.
God damn, this is my thing, man. Can Tom DeBlast just quit giving his shit away so the small guys can have a chance? Nobody wants my shit when John Danaher's giving it away for free.
Sure. It's tough, man, because I think a lot of people especially in crises like these, like we were talking about, with a lot of people are going to have trouble like paying for things, this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
I think so for instance, I filmed the DVD like way before this. It's going to be coming out soon. It's going to be like basically like submission wrestling, like, takedowns to submissions and stuff like that. I filmed it, trying to think, maybe 3 months ago, something like that. And at some point, probably during, this shutdown, it's going to get released. And, people look at people trying to sell things during crises. And I think sometimes they go, oh, they're trying to take advantage of people. Crazy. Because they're trying to sell something, right? Like, for instance, a good example would be like with the toilet paper. Like, people were hoarding toilet paper and then trying to resell it online, for instance, which is fucked up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I get that. But when it comes to like a jiu-jitsu instructional, it's like, dude, like, it's a jiu-jitsu instructor. Wasn't planning on coming out with this just because it's coronavirus time.
Right.
I'm not trying to like capitalize on it. It's just because I happen to have filmed it and it's time to release it. But I think what a lot of these guys are experiencing is like, even Gordon released one of his DVDs, I think for like 50% off, struggling. And same thing with Tom, he released some of his stuff for free. I think he gave like a code to like download like one of his videos free or something for some period of time. And I think everybody's trying to find ways that they can give back to the community and things, but it swings both ways. Like kind of what you were saying. It's like, when he gives everything away, then it's like it's harder for people to sell. And then, it's harder for people to make a living doing it. But at the same time, it's like he's just trying to do something nice for everybody. I totally get it. I get both sides. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with my new DVD release yet. If I'm going to have any period of discount or anything like that, I have no idea. But, I've been so busy worried about taking care of my own students that I haven't really been worried about like my online presence.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing my first Zoom session today. With my students, like you basically like teach live and then they like practice in their living room or whatever. That's one cool thing about this whole thing that I think might benefit the entire jiu-jitsu community is I think it's going to force everybody to have a little bit more of an online presence and online resources. People that probably didn't do it in the past, like people that weren't as familiar with it, but now have to learn how to do it in order to support their student base. Like I had no idea like how to use Zoom or like never thought about the idea of like doing any classes on there or anything like that. But maybe I'll make that a part of my, maybe I won't do it as much once we actually have live classes going, but maybe I'll make that a part of like what my students get when they enroll from now on, is they get like a certain amount of videos or whatever the case may be per month. I don't know. So it could end up being beneficial.
One of the things that I've done is like I'm teaching online classes, and I'm not going to act like they're this amazing substitute for being in a real jiu-jitsu class with real partners. And I have my 17-year-old son who helps, and then I have a grappling dummy. And some of my students at home, some of them have partners, and some don't. Some don't. Yeah, they have. They're using a pillow, so it's like fuck, dude. Yeah. So you do the best you can. But I did have that realization, like, because on Tuesdays and Thursday nights, what we do is instead of doing like a traditional class, we do it like a college lecture, like, where we're sitting down and I'm showing slides and we're talking about the armbar and we're dissecting it and we're getting into it and we're just exercising the intellectual side. And I thought this has a place, even when we go back to normal classes, there's still a place for saying, hey, on Wednesday night we're gonna have an online session and we're gonna do it's jiu-jitsu school. So
that's something that I think is definitely missing in most people's learning. I think a lot of people it's similar to like I guess just regular school. Like you may just show up to class, take whatever class it is that you have, and then never think about the material afterwards. And it's definitely not the right approach to learning, right? Like at least if you want to do it to the highest level. So especially for the guy who's only taking class twice a week, right? Doing something online where maybe he's watching a match and dissecting it or looking at some video or like you said, some pictures of something and then, somebody's breaking it down. I think that's really useful just for learning in general. So whether it's on the teaching end of things or whether it's on the student end of things, like you said, I definitely agree. I think it's going to benefit people a lot moving forward and realize that this is a way of learning that's super important.
Yeah, professional sports picked up on this a long time ago. There's a lot of time spent in professional sports where the athletes are just sitting in front of a big screen and they're breaking plays down and they're analyzing. I mean, they're analyzing what they're doing. They're analyzing what their future opponents may be doing or what they did. We should be doing exactly the same in jiu-jitsu. It doesn't make sense to not do it, especially with how competitive jiu-jitsu's become.
Yeah. It's a really important component. I try to do it as much as I can. I'm obviously have a lot more time to do it now. That's how I started out with my students. Is I started out by just basically posting like little clips of matches and breaking them down. And that's what I've been doing. I'm going to start having my instructors teach these Zoom classes now and see how that goes. And I'll probably still do the video breakdowns as well. But yeah, I think probably I always watched tape like back in the day, but one of the people who really kind of started motivating me to start dissecting it like more intensely is probably John. Because John spends a large portion of his day watching different tape, whether it's wrestling, mixed martial arts, jiu-jitsu, and just learning about different things that different high level athletes use. And it's so important, especially when you don't have, like for instance, like for me with mixed martial arts, like I have, John in the room as a coach, don't get me wrong, but I don't necessarily, I have a few guys that are like, kind of high level mixed martial artists around me, but I don't have like a room full of, UFC fighters, for instance, that I'm getting to watch do all of these techniques that I'm learning on a day-to-day basis. Like George comes by here and there and shows me some drills, and I've seen George spar and stuff before. But again, it's not like I'm watching the highest level athlete in that particular field every day. Or even furthermore, let's put it in a completely different genre. Forget about MMA, because I do have MMA fighters around me. Let's say something like boxing. I don't have like the highest level boxer around me every day to watch. So like what's the best substitute for that? Well, I'm going to go watch Mike Tyson over and over again and try to pay attention to the different patterns that I see and things like that. And I'm going to learn from that more so than I would just from practicing something that somebody taught me. You have to visually see somebody doing it with excellence. And if you don't see that every day, it's hard to get to that level or higher, I think.
I think you're right. It's for some reason we downplay or we've lost our ability to learn through observation, of watching and understanding, and that develops a muscle that we don't use enough, which I think is important. I'm a big fan of doing that. One of the things I like to do, and I started doing this I started with John's DVDs, and then I found myself doing it with every jiu-jitsu thing that I watch now. And John he's a brilliant dude, man. And I love the way he approaches the material and presents it, because he presents it in an academic manner, and you just don't find a lot of that in jiu-jitsu. In jiu-jitsu, you get a lot of, okay, guys, this is what we're going to do next. And then it's some random thing, But John is very good. Like, he's explicit. He talks so damn slow. Yeah. So what I do is I put all my videos at twice the speed, and I literally make him talk like this. And he's going to blah, blah, blah. And I've gotten used to hearing John talk at double speed, and I can't listen to him at single speed. It sounds like he's on Xanax. It sounds like he's drugged, dude.
That's amazing.
I do it with everybody. I do it with Hinner and Heat on their shit when they're talking. I jack it up, dude. So man, there's a lot that can be learned. At the same time, though, man, like, I'm missing getting into the gym. I'm missing training with people, and that human contact is I think, it's weird, but the people that grapple and do combat sports, like, we're so right up on each other 24/7 that you don't have it. Some part of you starts to miss that contact. Like, dude, I'm used to somebody trying to murder me right now, smash me, put their fucking flesh in my face, sweat on me, grind me down. Like, I need that on some level. I need that. And it's just, you just can't get it online.
Yeah, I think a big part of we've discussed this a number of times, but a big part of like jiu-jitsu is this kind of struggle for control, right? And I think that benefits a lot of people, because there's a lot of things in our lives that we have no control over. I mean, look at this virus,
right.
And by being able to train, despite the fact that there is a degree of lack of control, obviously, because you can't completely control your opponent necessarily. it gives us a greater sense of control over ourselves, I think,
right,
by being able to physically manipulate another human being or ourselves or whatever the case may be, in that kind of, close contact environment. It's a great way to kind of like build like confidence in yourself, whether it be physically, mentally, whatever the case may be. And, yeah, man, it's hard when you're not actually doing it, to gain that, because for a lot of people, it may be one of the only things they do where they feel like they're in some level of control in their lives.
No, for some people, it is the only thing that they have, control-wise,
Yeah.
right? They go to work and some dude's yelling at them all day, right? They go home and someone's yelling at them all day. Yeah. They come to jiu-jitsu, they're getting yelled at all day too, but at least they can kind of like get on the mats and exert some influence and control back over what they're doing. Yeah, I can see that.
One of the coolest things about jiu-jitsu, I think, is that as far as level of control is concerned, though, like you can see in real time the repercussions of what you did, the day before that or the week before that or the month before that. Like you learn like, hey, like, well, did I stay in shape? Like, no, I'm exhausted right now during this roll. Like, did I really like work on my mount escapes? Nope. I just got smothered in mount for fucking 4.5 minutes. Like this is clearly something you need to work on. And, it's a little different because like sometimes like when you go to work, like you could do the best that you possibly could or prepare the best you possibly could, and you don't necessarily get that promotion. But like with jiu-jitsu, regardless of whether you get a belt promotion, like you feel it, like like I got better at this. Yeah. Like nobody can take that away from me. Like my half guard got better this week.
Yeah,
like I know that for a fact because I felt it. You know what I mean? There's something special about that. Where like it's not the same in a lot of other aspects of life.
Yeah, the feedback loop is immediate. It's swift and it's immediate, and you're right. You can take something, you could practice it. You could take an arm bar and you could practice that arm bar for 3 days and just spend a lot of time drilling it, and you'll see immediate results with it. You could take it right out into the field, practice it, and go, okay, here's my feedback. Whereas you're right, at a job, you might not even get a review for a year and a half. You don't even fucking know how you think you're doing good and you're not, or you think you're not doing good and they're like, you get a raise. It's a little more, you can't bullshit your way through jiu-jitsu. Like you can be a bullshit artist, but you still ultimately have to get on the mat and train. You
still know when it's happening. Like I guess you could continue to try to lie to yourself even as you're getting the shit kicked out of you. But there's a certain sense of honesty that's associated with that. Even if you're still the guy that like goes up to your training partner and still talks shit and like maybe you act like a cocky jerk off, but like still inside, exactly what happened. Like you can't, what I mean? You can't hide from it.
Well, like I mean, you're world-class level competitor. And I'm a club black belt. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I'm a black belt in my jiu-jitsu school. Pretty good, whatever. I have students that I roll with, and there's times when they have me in trouble and they don't know it. And so I just play chill, and then later they're like, oh, dude, you kicked my ass. And I'm thinking like, woo, you don't even know, dude. Like, you were right on it, So there is that element of it, but I knew like, God damn, that guy was going to get me. He's just inexperienced. He didn't know what was going on. No, that's for sure. Hey, Garry, thank you so much for taking the time, man. We broke down one of your matches in one of our classes about a week and a half ago. It was you and Wagner Rocha at ADCC.
Oh, cool.
Even though you lost that match on points, I think it was on points. For my money, man, that's one of my favorite matches of all time. And I think you come out of that match the winner. You did so fucking good. It was like, thanks, man. You couldn't get the fucking hook in right at the end and you're on his back, but you did fucking fantastic. And the standing Granby rolls, my students were like, oh shit, because they hadn't seen that match. And you like put your arms out and you ran and did those that was dope shit, dude. You're one of the best pound for pound grapplers I've ever seen, man. So it's a real pleasure to have you on.
I appreciate that. Thanks so much. Thank you, man.
Shit, man.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for taking the time, man. I really appreciate it, brother.
No problem, brother.
Stay safe, all right? Okay, bye.
Thanks, man. You too.
All right. Garry Tonon, man. I love that guy. Oh, shit. I do, man. I like Garry. Gary's a good guy. Whatever. We have to live in a world where people are able to talk about their opinions. If you can't talk about your opinions, then that's a problem. Serious problem. And, you we can debate about opinions. That's fine. We just shouldn't try to ruin each other over our opinions. All right. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Let's proceed. We have a little bit more before the day is over. I want to talk real quick. I want to finish this up. BJJ loyalty. Here we go. I have this is on Reddit. I want to finish our Reddit recap. This guy says, I have 2 gym owner friends. Both are legit black belts. They built their gyms from the ground up, always staying late, always doing the shit, being there. You know what's so sad? There's so much talk about jiu-jitsu cult culture, about the importance of loyalty, yet Coach A went from 300 students to 77 in a span of 2 weeks since the lockdown happened, and Coach B went from 100 to less than 30. They both stated that they respect their students' decisions no matter what. But most of the students got up and left or suspended their membership. Yeah, it's pretty fucking crazy. Yeah, a lot of people said they had to cancel their, shit and blah, blah, blah. It's hard, man. There's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of fear. And as a jiu-jitsu gym owner, I get it. The same uncertainty and the same fear that I feel is what my students feel. So I totally get that part of it. And I don't get upset because of it, to be honest. And somebody said, hey, I hate to do this again. I know this has become a theme. I'm really on the brink of calling my professor and at least asking for my membership to be paused. And a lot of people are saying this shit, but, it's difficult, dude, and it's hard. And so I would say this, dude, everyone's saying this shit. This is what I would say to you. All right. Here's my advice to you. If you have a job and you could pay your bills, then you should keep your gym membership. Pay those people to the best of my ability. I'm not going, oh shit, it's scary. I'm cutting everything off and everyone's getting cut off with it. I'm not doing that. That's the wrong reaction, I think, because, shit really hits the fan so bad that everyone's got to cut everything. You're going to be screwed no matter what. All right. So my idea, the way I look at it personally for me is this. I want things to continue back. I want to get back to where we were. I want to go past that in a good way. And in order to do that, I have to fulfill my end of the bargain, which is the people that are relying on me, the services that I use, the businesses that I use. I'm going to continue to pay those folks and keep those services up as much as I possibly can in hopes that the people that use my service will continue to pay me the best that they possibly can. And if everybody kind of keeps that chain open, then hopefully we'll be somewhat strong enough to come back. But if everybody goes, that's it, the world's ending, I'm canceling everything, well, then everything's going to go down the shitter. There'll be nothing to come back to, which is unfortunate. And it's not greed, it's reality, right? And that's just where it's at. That's my 2 cents on that. I wanted to share this next one because this is great. White belt, respectfully at the start and end of each class. And you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to go ahead right now, and I'm going to give you my blessing, all right? So let me do this right now. Let me pull up your name. Sorry, bud. Before I want to make sure I get this. Okay, Prid 27. All right. Are we ready, Prid 27? Okay, let's do it. Prid 27, by the power vested in me, by these. Hold on, let me get my black belt. Let me get my USA flag. By the United States, and wait, let me grab. Oh, here we go. My black belt's too far away. I could grab this. Here we go. By the power invested in me by Andre Galval, the USA, and Jiu-Jitsu, I grant you the power and the authority to teach Jiu-Jitsu classes to your family at home only during the quarantine. Once the quarantine ends, you must stop teaching. But for now, I grant you that, okay? God bless. Fist bump up, baby Jesus, assalamu alaikum, all that. It's all good, man. You're in control. Do your thing, big dog, all right? You've been officially blessed. You can now teach your family jiu-jitsu. And I hope you do. It's an amazing thing. It really is. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, we were talking about that train derailment. Some cat derailed a train. A few things we didn't get to. San Francisco is banning. Now you can't bring your grocery bag into the store now. Before it was like you had to bring a bag or you got penalized. Now you can't bring a bag. Get your fucking facts straight. And why are we tripping out over grocery bags? We should have never been bringing bags into the store in the first place. Literally. The idea that like you have to pay for a grocery bag or bring your own grocery bag is fucking stupid. It's stupid. It doesn't do anything. Most grocery stores, you get 5 bags, they only charge you for 1. The grocery stores don't want to do it. It's dumb. You guys are dumb with this dumb shit. You're not saving the environment from charging for grocery bags. It's penny wise and pound foolish, man. You guys need to get your fucking shit together because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of you, California. I'm getting ready to move to Texas. Real talk. Real talk, motherfuckers. Real talk. Yeah, so, man. And then, so San Francisco's banned grocery bags. And the LA mayor is saying that he wants everybody to wear masks. He says all residents should wear a mask. Mayor Garcetti, that sounds like the guy from The Wire, on Wednesday called the city's millions of residents to start covering their faces whenever they're out is a public part of an effort to combat the outbreak of the novel coronavirus. Like, they have to call it novel. The novel coronavirus. Really what this is a ploy. Garcetti's a womanizer. And what he really wants is he wants all the girls that are not at least an 8 or a 9 or a 10, and we're talking a California 8, which is like a 12 in the rest of the world. Sorry. A California 8. Then otherwise, if you're below that, you got to wear a mask. That's just it. We don't want to see your face. Put a fucking mask on. That's what Garcetti's saying, not me. Not me, okay? No, I don't know. That's a weird move. Everybody wears masks. Can you imagine everyone wearing masks? It's kind of trippy, right? Like, they're going to try that. Then they're going to go like, oh, wait, the 5G facial recognition can't get you with a mask on. Everyone take the masks off. We can't make up our mind. I feel like every conspiracy theory that I've ever learned about is coming true, and I don't know what it is. And if you want to have a good time, I'll tell you this right before we go. If you want to have a good time, go to Godlike Productions and check out their forums. It's basically like every conspiracy theorist that exists is on that message board, and they're arguing over basically which conspiracy this is. Is it the comet from outer space? Is it Q? Is it the NWO takeover? Is it Enron? Is it something else? Is it reptilians? Is it the sun never sets on the British Empire? We don't know, right? All these different things. So check that board out. Make sure you guys give us a rating and a review on iTunes, please. It's important to me. It helps us out. If you're in the Stockton area, you could check us out, 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu Stockton, inside BJJ Academy. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Trust me, man. This sucks for me just like it sucks for you, but we are going to get out of it. You just got to stay tight, stay strong, and keep it up. I'll see you guys on the other side. On behalf of Garry Tonon and myself, we're out of here.